Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and more all team up for Zack Snyder's Justice League. But just who is the Zack Snyder fellow? How did he get started in the movie world? And the most important question of all, just how did this man become worth $60 million?
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
Now hold up, before we get to the Zack Snyder career that we know and love today, let's take a look down memory lane. Born in 1966 in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Zack Snyder started off his career as a painter, but would eventually wind up at the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, and continued to get his BFA in film in 1989. During this time, he actually went on to direct a couple short films in the 1990s, such as Playground, some music videos from the early to the mid-90s, along with commercials for a couple sort of coming around companies. You might not know them, but it's just Gatorade, Reebok, Nike, Nissan, Subaru, BMW, and Audi. He did eventually actually co-found his own production company called Cruel and Unusual Films. Today though, it's known as Stone Quarry. In 2004 he did this actually with his wife Deborah along with his producing partner Wesley Collar. And this would actually go on to coincide with Snyder's big screen debut with 2004's Dawn of the Dead. This film had an estimated budget of just a measly $26 million, but that did not stop it from raking in over $102 million worldwide. But the important questions first. Just how much money did Zack Snyder take home? So unfortunately, they don't really release those numbers, but we can take a pretty good guess. Introducing the Directors Guild of America. Now this is a union for negotiating the salaries for directors who do things like TV shows and movies. Now if Snyder was a member during this time, the guild actually has minimum salaries. The salaries are actually tiered due to the budget of the movie, with over $11 million being considered a high budget film according to the 2021 rules. Now this would require a minimum payment of $20,616 per week with 13 weeks of work guaranteed. This works out to roughly $268,000. Now being released back in 2004, we're going to guess that he was paid a little bit less. So we're going to be estimating around $156,000 again for back in 2004. Now that is quite a lot, but he could have made much more. A lot of directors actually have percentage agreements, making money based off of either the box office sales or the overall profits. Now this is where the real money starts to come into play. Spielberg, for instance, receives 20% for a film's gross when he directs, which is a pretty nice perk considering his films have raked in over $25 billion during his career. Now keep in mind, this is gross too, which is before taxes, before expenses, and before pretty much anything else gets taken into account or taken away from what the movie brought in. Now 2004 Zack Snyder wasn't quite Steven Spielberg caliber yet, but if he did have this contract, he would have walked away with $20 million from Dawn of the Dead. 2 years later, Snyder was back on the big screen again, this time with King Leonidas and the movie 300. This film cost $65 million to create, but it brought in a whopping $456 million worldwide. Now while we don't have the exact figures for his paycheck, we do know that he was also credited as a writer for the screenplay. He did share this role with 3 other people, but I'm sure his paycheck more than reflected the success of this film.
This is Sparta!
From here, Snyder kept popping out movies. However, none were the huge successes like 300. Watchmen, which was released in 2009, had a budget of $130 million, but it only made $185 million worldwide. In 2010, Snyder came back again with Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole, an animated owl movie, grossing $140 million on that $80 million budget. And then finally, we have Sucker Punch from 2011. Out of the 3, this one did the worst at the box office. Estimated to cost $82 million, it only brought in $89 million worldwide. Fun fact, this is an original story from Snyder, who also helped adapt it to the big screen. In 2013, Snyder got his chance to direct the newest feature film, starring the big man himself, Superman. The Man of Steel had the colossal budget almost equal to $250 million. Now this went on to gross over $668 million. Now this movie was actually DC's first step into the extended universe, which was Warner Bros. And DC's attempt to go toe-to-toe with Marvel. This definitely needed some good money behind it. And for a little comparison, Iron Man, the first movie of the MCU, had an estimated budget of $140 million. Following the film's success, Snyder returned to direct Batman vs. Superman in 2016. This film once again had a massive budget of $250 million, and it went on to gross almost $875 million. Now by this time, Snyder was probably walking home with a decent amount of change in his pocket. And if he was a member of the Directors Guild, he'd have been guaranteed roughly $220 grand. But for a film of this magnitude, we're gonna assume he made just a little bit more money. Why, if he had actually just gotten a 1% deal of the gross sales, he would have been able to walk away with $8.7 million in his pocket. The next year, Snyder was back, but this time for the big team-up movie, Justice League. This one went even bigger with a budget of over $300 million. However, it actually grossed less than Batman v Superman, only bringing in $657 million. Now, Snyder was brought on as a director during filming, but he had to go and take some time off due to family reasons. So they brought in Joss Whedon to finish the film. Now, Whedon is known for directing Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron. However, Whedon chose to move the film in a different direction and reshot a few scenes, altering Snyder's original vision. Now here we have it, y'all. After years of fan outcry, the Snyder Cut has arrived. This is a director's cut of Justice League as seen through the eyes of Snyder himself. While a lot was already shot for this film, it reportedly cost Warner Bros. $70 million to finish it. Due to the state of the world though, Warner Bros. Doesn't have plans to do a big release in theaters. Instead, they're going to be publishing it straight on to HBO Max. So the big question is, how much did Snyder make from this? And the answer is $0.00. Snyder forgoed a paycheck to have complete directorial freedom. Snyder is quoted in saying, "I didn't want to be beholden to anyone, and it allowed me to keep my negotiating powers with these people pretty strong. All the reshoots, edits, and rewrites, and the man doesn't even make a cent." With this long list of films, Snyder reportedly has a net worth over $60 million. Now, out of all his movies though, I have to know, which one is your favorite? Let us know with a comment down below. Personally, I enjoyed The Man of Steel. And while you're down there commenting, you should also smash that subscribe button for more content like this. This has been Don with The Financial Fixation, and I'll see you in the next one.